What would you do if you had the chance to start over in a new city? Do I stay in Florida or do I move to Denver? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let's chat. I've mentioned this in a few videos before, just briefly, like talking about possibly moving to Denver. And at this point, you guys know my second IUI didn't work, and it's going to be a little while before I can financially try again. And I do think we are going to be moving to IVF instead of IUI. I'm sorry. I know I was a little emotional in the last video. Understandably so. But I've thought about it now. It's been a couple weeks now. I've thought about it and I am going to move to IVF. Not to be like dramatic. I know I have time. I'm looking more big picture. I'm looking more zooming out a little bit. And it's the fact that I know I want to have a child, but I also want to have a sibling. And at that point, I'm worried about. That's what I mean when I'm saying like I don't have time. Is that like I have time for my first kid. I'm only 32. I know I have time for my first kid, but for any subsequent siblings, that's where I have a little bit less time. Like if I think about it, it took me 2 years to get to this point. It's going to take me 3 years to conceive child number one. So 3 years to conceive child number one, a year to have child number one, 3 years before I'm even ready for child number two. So that now we're starting to get up there. Now we're starting to get closer to that 40 range, which you can still have a child at 40 completely fine, it's not a problem. But I'm thinking of it two ways. One, my egg quality now is the best it's ever going to be. It's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. And if it's already taking me this long, like I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk going for child number two and finding out that my egg quality is garbage. It's gone. I can't do it. So I am going to move to IVF. That's a conversation for another video. I will go into that more in another video if anyone is interested in that. But the point of today's video is kind of, I'm coming to you guys, I'm asking you guys for help making a big life decision. And I've mentioned it already, it's stay in Florida or move to Denver. So let's talk first about why Florida. Why Florida? So I moved to Florida in 2013 for college from Troy, New York. And I've been in Florida ever since. So 2013, it's 2025 now. I've been here 12 years, almost 13 years. So obviously Orlando isn't my hometown. I moved down here when I was 19, 20, around there, because I did do a year of college in Virginia first. Yeah, around 19, around 20. So Orlando isn't my hometown, but it's very easily become home. I absolutely love it here. Like the only way I feel like I'm leaving Florida is if I am moving out of the country. But recent things have made me start to consider Denver. So what is it about Florida that I love? It's a little bit about everything. Like I love the weather. I hate the cold. You guys know me. I hate the cold. I don't like the snow. When I moved down to Florida, I dug my car out of the snow and I said, never again will I be digging my car out of snow. I like being close to the beach, to the theme parks. Like I don't even go to the beach and the theme parks all the time, but having that option, knowing that if I'm just like, I'm bored this weekend, I want to go to the beach and I can do that very easily with 45-minute drive. Like I love having that ease of access. The theme parks are very easy. Again, I don't do them all the time. It's pretty pricey, but it's nice to have the option. Like I'll take my brother for his birthday. He's a New Year's baby. I'll take him to Universal for his birthday. It's easy. It's right there. And even though Orlando is a big city, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like LA. It doesn't feel like New York City. And I know those are huge cities to be comparing to, but like Orlando still feels like a small town. Like it's a city, but it still feels small. You don't feel lost, but at the same time, you don't feel like everyone knows you. Like you can blend in to the background without feeling completely lost. And then, of course, you guys know soccer is huge in my life. I love the Orlando City team. It's purple. They became an MLS team the same year that I moved down here. So like it kind of just feels like we are connected. We are connected down to the soul, like down to the soul. So I've had season tickets for Orlando City for a couple years. I did take a couple years off while I was working on finances and stuff, but I usually have a season ticket for Orlando City games, and that is huge for me. That's where most of the time I'm in this house. You guys have seen the vlogs. I'm in this house all the time. The city games are how I get out. I go out on Saturdays and I go to the games and I go and I watch my team. So like, I don't feel like I want to leave. So for me personally, I don't want to leave. I like it here. I'm happy here. I have everything that I want here. So it's really hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that I need to think about my family. When I say family right now, I mean like me and my children is what I mean by my family. Yes, I do have family here in Florida. When I moved down for college, my mother and my siblings moved down a little under a year after I did. My mom, my brother, and one of my sisters is still here. My other sister moved back to New York. It's tough for me to make the decision to move away from them because obviously that's grandma, that's aunt, that's uncle. Like moving away from them seems counterproductive, I guess. There is a chance that they're not all here forever. My mom might go back to New York. My sister, who knows where she'll end up. We've all talked about going to different places, going to different countries and stuff. So I also don't want to make my decision counting on everyone staying here and then no one stays here. But as of right now, it'd be like nobody's moving in the next 2-3 years. Like that's for sure. Nobody's moving in the next 2 or 3 years. So it's like, do I really take my kid away from immediate family? So that's a huge part of the decision. Like I love it here and my immediate family is here. Why would I take my child away from that? Is basically where that part of my mindset is. So now you're probably thinking, okay, so why are you even considering moving to Denver? Great question. So in May, I took a trip for my birthday. A couple of my friends live in Denver. One of my friends lives in Kansas City, which is about an 8-hour drive, but like we're road trippers. We're road tripper type of people. So like an 8-hour drive sounds like a great weekend for us. Like, yeah, absolutely. I will come visit. I will hop in the car right now. So I have 2 friends in Denver. Well, more now, but when I went out in May, I had 2 friends in Denver, and my Kansas City friend was coming, and then my friend from Ireland was actually coming. So we were all just convening in Denver. And I vividly remember just like, it was a really low commitment week. Like we really didn't do too much. We did one day that was like, we went to Estes Park to go hiking. We just like kind of walked around the trails. We did a couple other things, but most of that week was really just chill, low key, like just hanging out in people's living rooms. We were playing board games or reading books, like literally each of us reading our own little books quietly on the couch, like parallel play. But just like being in that environment, seeing the way my friends interacted with each other. You know, we had somebody in the kitchen who was cooking and we had somebody else playing a game over there. And it was just like that sense of community, that feeling sitting in that room. It felt like the kind of thing that I want to raise my child around. Like I want to be around my friends. I don't really have my friends here in Orlando, and I'm sure I could make friends here in Orlando, but that's a different story. Like I don't really have friends here in Orlando. I have family here in Orlando, but I don't really have friends here in Orlando. My friends are all other places. So it's like I don't feel like I have much to, like I said, I sit in the house, where it's like if I was in Denver, I'd know I would go over to my friend's house, or they would come over to my house, or we would go out and do something. Like just because my friends are there, like there's no reason for me to do that here by myself. Like I can do it, but it's like it's not as fun when you're as when you're with. I don't need to convince you of that. You know, it's not as fun when you're not with your friends. It was really just that sense of community, that sense of village, knowing that like my friends, their life priorities, their morals, their values align so much with mine that it's like I know raising my kid around this will instill those values in my child. Versus here, I just because they're my close family doesn't mean we all line up on values and opinions and all that, and we don't. So I would have my child around their immediate family, but it would be me constantly battling against the messages that they're receiving from everyone else versus the messages that they're receiving from me. Versus if I was in Denver, the messages that they're receiving from all of the people around us would be the same as the messages that they're receiving from me. So that is basically the main driver for that, other than we got one minor thing. One minor thing would be I miss camping. When I was growing up in New York, my grandparents took us camping every single school break. It was always something historical, like we would go to Boston or we would go to this like pilgrim experience, like literally a pilgrim experience. You're walking around, it's like, I don't know what it's called. It's somewhere in Pennsylvania. We would go to like war forts and all this stuff. And I love history, and I feel like that's a huge part of why I love history is because we took those trips. But it was always camping. We were always in the trailer. We were always at a campground, and I miss that. And you can't really do that here in Florida, not easily. You can camp here in Florida, but it's 96 degrees out there, and that does not sound very fun. And to get somewhere where it would be a little bit cooler is a lot more of a commitment. It's an 8, 10, 12-hour drive versus in New York, you want to go camping, you drive an hour to Connecticut, you're in a different state. Like it's so much easier there, and I would have that back in Denver, which is a huge selling point. Makes up for the fact that I would lose beaches in the theme parks. I feel like those are equivalent to me. The amount of times that I go to the beaches and the theme parks would be probably about the amount of times I go camping, but it would be accessible. It would be something I could do. So it's definitely one of the main, those are like the main reasons that are pushing me towards that. I want to be near my friends. I want to have that community around my kid. So there's a lot of pros to both, right? There's a lot of pros to Florida. There's a lot of pros to Denver. Like, it doesn't feel like there's anything wrong with either decision at this point, which is why I'm coming to you guys for help. Real quick, while I have you here, I did want to mention that I did finally set up some social media accounts. So I have a TikTok and an Instagram account for every updates regarding my life. The same thing that you'd see here, like the same thing that you'd see here, but like related to the stuff that you'd see on this channel, you'll see over there. Both of them are life with _Lux. Life with _Lux, and those will be in the description box as well. And depending on when this video goes up, I may or may not have anything posted on either account. That's another monster. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, we're not at that bridge. We're at the previous bridge. Also, thank you so much for 50 subscribers. I literally started this channel just to be like a digital video diary for myself. I didn't expect anyone to watch it. I didn't expect anyone to care about my random fertility journey. Honestly, I have 50 subscribers now. You guys are amazing, and you guys are commenting, and I recognize your names, and it does feel like we're starting to form like a community here, and that's so heartwarming to me. Like, it makes me feel like I'm not so alone in this journey. Like, and I know I chose this journey. I chose to go it alone, so I'm not like complaining about the being alone. I'm not upset about that. I'm not worried about that at all. But like, it's kind of like that when you mentally prepare to do something alone, and then somebody's like, "Sure, I'll come with you," and then it's like, "Oh, cool! Now I got somebody to come with me." So that's what it kind of feels like. Is that like I started this journey I started this channel just for myself, just so I could have something to look back on and remember the process. Something for my children to watch when they're a little bit older and they can see what mom did to get to them. And now I have you guys here, and it's been so nice, and I really appreciate seeing your comments. So thank you so much for those, and I hope to see you in more future comments. So on that note, if you're new here and you want to be part of the community, you want to be friends, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit like on this video, and just leave a comment, introduce yourself to me. Let me know who you are, what you're doing, how you found me, like all that, and we'll start a conversation and we'll be friends. Okay, so now let's talk about the downsides. Let's talk about the downsides of Denver first. Obviously, the biggest one is the cold. Like I just said, I don't want to have to dig my car out of the snow again. I hate the cold. I hate the cold when you can't escape it. So like, I don't care if it's cold outside if I can be warm in the house. And I think that what I'm afraid of is like, obviously when you're a kid, you don't control the thermostat. Your parents do. So I think we kept the house a little bit too cold for me when I was younger. And I feel like that's just ingrained in my mind that when like you're dealing with winters, you have to deal with the house that cold. And that is like a really firm no for me. Like I can't do it, but I'm trying to remind myself that I'm in control of my bills now. I'm the one who has to pay the power bill. So if I want the house to be warmer and I'm willing to pay the higher power bill, then the house will be warmer. I'm trying to remember that, trying to keep that in my mind, because that might take up most of that. That is going to depend on, the career situation. If I'm working in office somewhere, I still have to go out in those elements fairly often. That might be dragging me down a little bit mental health wise. But if I'm working remote or hybrid, I can stay away from the cold and just like stay in the house. And drag me out of that house in the winter. And I already told my friends that. I was like, if you want to go anywhere and there's snow on the ground, you better drag me, because that's the only way it's going to happen. The other thing is just that moving cross country is just, it's so overwhelming for me, just one person with 3 pets and all these plants. And I know I did that to myself. I know I chose the pets, I chose the plants, but I chose them under the assumption that I was just staying in Florida. Like moving them down the street is one thing. Moving them across the country is a totally different thing. And it's very expensive. It's very stressful. I might have mentioned in a previous video, I might not have, I have no idea. I do plan on moving overseas at some point. Where? I don't know yet. Japan is definitely number 1 on the list. I definitely want to go to Japan. It's just really hard to get a visa for Japan. And then otherwise, if I can't do Japan, my plan right now was to do a remote year where I was just on like tourist visas. And I was going around to just different countries in Europe. I wanted to try France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, and just staying for 2 to 3 months at a time. So I would get the feel of what it felt like to live there and then make my decision later. Basically, regardless, I know that I will be moving overseas at some point. That's not an if, that's not a maybe, that's an I will be moving overseas at some point. I can't do it right now with the pets. They're all seniors. what do we got? We got 13, we got 10, and we got 12. So realistically, I can't move with them as seniors. They're too old, they're too anxious. They got it would be too much on them. The stress would kill them, and I'm not doing that to them. So my plan was to just wait it out here, wait till they pass, and then I would be more seriously considering moving overseas. And I was going to try Japan, most likely getting in as a teacher, just like everyone else, getting in as a teacher and figuring it out from there. And then if I was going to do the Europe thing, it would just be I would have to get a job that was 100% remote, where it doesn't matter where I'm working as long as like I'm working during the times that they want. How does that connect to Denver is basically just with how expensive it's going to be to move across the country. I'm talking it's going to be like $3,000-$4,000 just to move. That's not even like the apartment, the deposit on the apartment. It's $3,000 to $4,000 just to get my stuff in a truck and the truck across the country, like between my stuff, and then I'd have to have like a van or something to move me and the dogs, and the cat. Obviously, he's not staying behind. But it's just like, do I really want to spend that kind of money right now when I know that 6, 7, 8 years from now I'm just gonna move out of country? Like that's a lot. That's a lot. And 6, 7, 8 years isn't a long time. Like I know it feels like a long time, but it's not. Like it's gonna feel like I finally get settled in Denver, and then it's like, okay, great, now I'm moving overseas. So that's where I'm kind of wondering, like, is it worth it to go? Like short term, it feels worth it. It feels worth it to go to have that community, but long term, it's like, do I want to do this all over again in just a few more years? Like it's a lot for one person. I feel like it might be a different conversation if I was doing it with someone. And again, this is gonna sound awful. Like this whole video just sounds like I'm like, oh, I wish I had someone. I don't. Like I like being single. I don't want to, like, I'm Aero Ace. I don't have any reason to, like, a relationship sounds like a chore. A relationship sounds like a chore to me, and it's not a chore that I want. But I'm saying, like, in regards to like this move, it's like it would be a little bit easier if I had someone else to help carry that weight. But right now it's me. It's all on me. It's me finding the new place. It's me scheduling things. It's me booking the truck. It's me packing. It's me putting it in the truck. It's me moving the truck around the country. And then my friends did offer to come help. Like if I don't do pods, that ship my stuff themselves, then it would be a van for me, the dogs, and the plants. And then it would be like the moving truck that one of my friends was going to fly in and help me with driving that one. That's just a small part of it, though. The actual moving the truck and the stuff is such a small part of everything that has to go into it. And I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to put that much, like, that's just so much to do. And that's why I was saying, like, in the last video, like, if I really want to move to Denver, like, I need to start that now, because it's so much to do. This lease is up in May. It's August. It's September tomorrow. It's September on Monday. So really, I have like 7, 8 months to get everything figured out if I want to move. So it's a lot. It just feels so overwhelming, and it's like I just need to make the decision. I need to make the decision now. I can't keep bouncing back and forth. Like that decision needs to be made today. And if you see me looking down, my iPad's right here with my notes, so I don't get too off track, because I didn't want this to be like an hour-long video, but it might be an hour long anyway, just because of the way that I am. Because of the way that I am, you guys are used to it. All right, so how about the downsides of Florida? Like I said, I love it here. I don't want to leave, but there is a huge, major, very literally red flag with Florida, and that is the political climate. It's obviously a red state, and I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to debate all of that. I'm going to say that I personally read the Project 2025 document. I have seen some of those Project 2025 bullet points. I've seen them already being enacted on. There was very recently a case of a single mother by choice who was denied care by an OBGYN in Tennessee because they did not agree with her decision to have a child by herself. She was denied care, and that was just for an OBGYN, but with the recent laws that have passed, it's anyone. Like if you need an ambulance, they can deny you care based on a difference of ethics, a difference of morals. They don't agree that you should be a single mom by choice. You need an ambulance to get to the hospital to deliver your baby. They can deny you care. That's the reality that we're living in right now. This is not fear mongering. Like there's literal, I can share the links to the articles of these. This is stuff that is happening right now today. People are already being denied. That's scary. That is scary. There are other points in the Project 2025 document that speak specifically to single mothers. And it speaks about how a child needs a father in their life. It speaks about how the plan is to make sure that women are not able to make these decisions, it very much hints at the possibility that they are going to start taking children away. That is a little bit extreme. That I will say right now, today, that is a little bit extreme. I don't think they're going to start. I don't think ICE is about to start knocking on doors of single parents and start taking their kids away yet. But I very clearly see that being a possibility in 2-3 years. That could very much be a thing. And it's like, do I want to even risk it? Do I want to sit here and risk it and say it's not going to happen? It's not going to happen. And then the next thing I know is that they're knocking on my door. Is that still possible in Denver? Yes. But Colorado is a blue state, which means it's just a little bit less likely, a little bit more likely that I'll have some protections in a state like that. But again, the goal is to get out of the country completely. And it's not just because of the current political climate for that. Like, it's everything. It's school shootings. I don't want to send my kid to school and worry about if they're going to come home that day. Like, sorry. That's just me. I don't want to live in that life. I don't want to live there. Sorry. I hate that that's the reality that we currently have to live in, but I'm making choices to make it not my reality. And that's okay. That's completely valid for me. And that's not to say, like, if you are staying in America that you're being, like, I'm not trying to, like, shame anyone. Obviously, I know it's not easy to get out. Obviously, I'm still here. So I know it's not just easy to get out. It's very much a privilege to get out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for me personally, I have the drive, I have the will, I am able to get out, and I want to try it. I want to try getting out. I want to just see what life is like somewhere else. I want to know how different it is. How much is it everywhere? And I know that other countries have their problems too. I know Japan has its problems too. But I think when I look at the problems that Japan has versus the ones America has, like, for example, and this is just going to be random off the top of my head, like the work culture where people are slaves to work basically in Japan versus my child getting shot at school. Like, I'd rather be the slave to work. Like, no, it doesn't sound fun, but it sounds a little bit more fun than my child getting shot. Like, that's just the reality. That's if I have to choose between the lesser of two evils here. But that is the main reason. The main reason I don't want to stay in Florida is just the political climate. That, and like I said before, with the difference of views, of morals, of lifestyle choices between my immediate family that's here in Florida and my friends that are in Denver, it's like I would rather raise my child around the people in Denver. They think more closely to me. That's just on a bunch of things, on acceptance, on equality, on race, on gender, on everything. My friends in Denver think more aligned with me than my immediate family. And so that's where I want to be with my child. So I don't have a decision. This video was literally just me trying to share with you guys what my current dilemma is. And if you had any thoughts, opinions on any of it, I definitely welcome you to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, what you would do if you were in my situation. Definitely looking for guidance and thoughts here because, like I said, I am all pretty much just alone in this. And I don't have anyone to ask these decisions about that wouldn't be biased. Like, if I ask my mom, she's going to say stay because she wants to be around me. She wants to be around the grandchild. If I ask my friends, they're going to say go because they don't want me in Florida, which completely valid, completely understandable. But it's like, I just need that neutral third party. I need that neutral third party that I don't have because I can't just, if I know you and I can ask you, you're either a friend or your family. So I don't have the neutral third party. I'm asking you guys as the neutral third party, what would you do in this situation? Please leave a comment. Please help me out. I need to make this decision very soon because that's a lot of money that we need to save. If we're going to be moving, that's a lot of money that we need to save. And we got 8 months to do it. So in a future video, I will be covering like my job hunting why I'm looking for a job, what jobs I'm looking for. I will be covering that soon. It's a little bit far out right now. If I stick to my calendar of videos, it's a little bit far out. It wouldn't be until like October. That one is coming, and that definitely helps. That definitely plays a part in this because like my current job, it is remote, but I have to be in Orlando. I cannot leave Orlando with this role. So in my job hunting, I've been looking at anything that is Orlando, Denver, or remote, like fully remote. So that does obviously play a little bit of a role in this because if I accept a position that's here in Orlando, then that makes my decision for me, right? Makes my decision. But if I get something that's like remote, if I get something that's Denver, either remote or just have to be in Denver area, then again, that just makes my decision for me. But if I get something that's just fully remote, then it's like I can literally go anywhere. And that's where that like remote year and stuff comes in. But again, I can't do that with the pets. I can't wait. I can't do that until they've left me, which I am not hurrying them out the door because I love them dearly. And I will be a mess when that happens. So I definitely don't want them to go anywhere. A fully remote job would answer a lot of my long-term questions a fully remote job would answer, but like not my immediate short terms. Do I stay or do I go? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Just to give you a sneak peek at what's coming up, I'm going to start, I'm going to be very optimistic here and say I'm going to try to start doing, dare I say, twice a week uploads. And it sounds scary, but I'm going to try. At least for a little while, I'm going to try. It's going to be, one of the uploads is always going to be about language learning and language study, like a study vlog kind of thing. And then the other video is always going to be the same lifestyle vlogs that you guys are used to. So the next one was most likely, I think I'm going to cover IUI costs versus IUI costs, like what I've been paying so far versus IVF costs, so we can then make that decision. But I do think we are very much going towards IVF, but I want to just run down the costs for you guys. I know there's a couple other videos that exist like that talk about the cost of IUI, but they're all, at least from what I've seen, they're all a couple years old now, and none of that is valid anymore. Like the prices have all changed. So I wanted to break that down for you guys and show you what it costs today in 2025. So that will be the next video. Be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that, and I will catch you guys next time.